What is good, everybody? Listening to this comes across your page. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. 4th of July is basically here. Yeah. Everybody have a safe 4th of July weekend. Make sure you enter the day with 10 fingers and leave with 10 fingers unless you enter the day with less fingers. Walk out with the same fingers you entered the day with.
Sounds like solid advice.
It sounds very solid advice because it seems like every year we hear about somebody, mostly your pro athletes, losing some fingers. And we just want everybody to enjoy the holiday, enjoy family, friends, eating food, drink responsibly. We will be, to a degree. But yeah, have a great holiday. We're going to get right off into this, right off the big man. We have some breaking news kind of in the celebrity world, I guess you could say, if you would like to say that. We all know about the Diddy case, him being brought up on these 5 charges. Baby oil Diddy. He was brought up on 5 charges. His verdict came through yesterday. He was found not guilty on 3 of the 5 charges. So only 2 of the charges he was found guilty on. The charges he was not found guilty on were the worst ones.
Yes.
So they were asking for a bond. It was thought about no bond. He's going to remain in jail until his trial. I guess the question becomes is like, will he really see jail time, or do you think he's going to get probation? That's the question.
To not really dive too much into the laws and what he's all being charged with, because honestly, I don't care. People follow it closer than I have, but I dug into a little bit. He's looking like the max he could face off of the smaller charges was just kind of like prostitution, transporting and paying for prostitutes. Nothing with the party and baby oil. No. I just know, the baby oil companies, they're happy that they should be getting out. But he can serve, it sounds like, up to 10 years in federal prison for the crimes that he's being accused of. Yes. I say accused because we don't know. Yeah. But it could be as low as 3. 3, yeah. But it sounds something kind of averaged out around 5 to 6 with a plea, maybe, if he pleads out.
I guess I was just more shocked at the verdict. When you really think about the parts of the case you really heard on social media, you thought for sure this motherfucker is rap. But I also have to say in the same boat, I think Cassie's testimony probably hurt the case more than helped. Because bitch, you liked it.
I guess that's a lot of the thing is I feel like most people that went to these P. Diddy parties.
I just know now if I ever become a celebrity, I'm not going. I'm not going. No. I'm not going. I'm just not going. But I was shocked to see that. It was breaking news everywhere. So he was, like I said.
You see his supporters and fans outside the courthouse and baby oil. I'm like, oh God. If they all ain't invited to the next party, I don't know what. I just know I'm trying to avoid the judges.
Everyone that came forward, that spoke out, that thought he was going to get, indicted on these charges, you somewhat kind of fucked me.
You're like,
I'm like, damn, where can I go that you can't find me?
You pretty much put your name out there, everybody knows that P. Diddy got that ass. You gotta know P. Diddy got that ass. You just know P. Diddy got it. In some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, but that's the stuff that happened in the Diddy case. Again, there was no bond. He's going to be held until his actual sentencing date, but we find out how much time he's really going to serve, if any. We'll have to wait and see, because that'll be a whole nother shocker if he doesn't serve any time. I'll tell you what.
Well, if he's house arrest.
Yeah, house arrest.
House arrest and some kind of probation.
Yeah, so
community service, with baby oil.
Well, just know, you will not be going to Diddy's house anytime soon.
Just know, again, I'll be staying out of California because, again, I'm never going to California ever again. I hate, California. I'm not going there. But I'm not going there either. Too hot.
That is the biggest news in the outside world, outside everything that's just celebrity type wise. But moving on more into our sports stuff that we're a little bit more comfortable in, feel more safe, less baby oil,
less slippery,
less slippery,
less slippery between cheeks.
I know this is a man you're not really fond about talking about, but for whatever reason he is attracting a lot of people. Jake Paul. He did fight. Last week, he did win by decision. He is now actually ranked as the 14th, I think, cruiserweight boxer in the world. He's number 14th. Now it's more like you said when we talked about fight a real boxer. Let's really find out. Has he fought Tommy Fury, who technically is a real boxer? I mean, he comes from the boxing heritage. Yeah. He did lose that fight. He got outboxed tremendously. We saw that. But now it's more like fight a real motherfucker that's actually a real boxer that does this for a living, eats, sleeps, breathes this. Let's really find out what you're made of. And that's kind of like where you stand on. That's kind of where I'm at too.
I feel like he's made a mockery of the boxing world, and I have little issues with some of the boxers that have came and gone. Yeah. The OGs have actually supported him, kind of like Money Mayweather has kind of supported him, and I'm like, that's kind of weird considering he's kind of making a mockery, making a lot of money off of the brand that he really kind of uplifted. And so to me, it's weird.
When you hear Jake Paul make comments, "I'm the greatest thing to happen to boxing since Muhammad Ali," that's hella disgraceful in your eyes.
That's hella disgraceful because they got Canelo. Currently, to me, it was the next best thing that happened after Money Mayweather. Yeah. Because I mean, it was Muhammad Ali. Then you had Manny Pacquiao. Then you had Money Mayweather, and then Canelo. I think anybody that doesn't really follow boxing knows all those names I just said. Yeah. Jake Paul, they're like, I know him as an entertainer. Yeah. And to me, that's what all these boxing matches have really been. And so I'm like, okay, so you've done all this. Fight a real dude. Fight a top 5 boxer, and let's actually see what happens. And no more restrictions on shit. Yeah. No more fucking restrictions.
Well, now if you're gonna go into this world, you're being ranked, which I think is. Like, how does it make you feel to know that he's actually ranked now? Like, he's in a boxing set, he's ranked.
Technically, his matches have all counted. Yes. Like, via whatever the league is in boxing, it's all counted. So he's lost.
I think he's 11-1 or 12-1.
Like, he's lost one match. So, like, the fact that he's ranked top 15.
But how does it make you feel that some of these fights have really counted when you fought Mike Tyson, who's like damn near 80 years old?
And had restrictions on that one, too. Had restrictions on that one. I feel like Mike Tyson walking around in a fucking thong was more of a highlight of it.
God, you can't say that when I'm about to take a fucking drink.
Like, you said the booty cheeks at the end, dude. Mike got the booty cheeks at the end. I would be more entertained with him actually fighting a boxer more in their prime that's ranked in the top 5 than anything that he's done here recently. Okay, that's fair.
I need you to fight somebody in that top 10, and we really need to find out what you really made.
With no restrictions.
With no restrictions, real thing, and so really find out what it's been. But that's the news in the boxing world. Like I said, we talked about it last week. The Terrence Crawford, Canelo Alvarez fight is coming up sometime. I think in like September, I believe it is, if I'm not mistaken. That fight's supposed to take place. So that's probably the biggest fight in boxing that everyone's really gravitating, looking forward to. But moving on to the football. Obviously, we have a podcast. Obviously, Brandon, we talk sports. A lot of people out here talk sports. Some people should be charged a little bit more for their equipment than others. Speaking of that, a lot of former players have podcasts, and they give their opinions, and they talk. And you would think when those guys are speaking, the credibility would be a little bit more up there, a little bit more respectful. But I think we've hit it all low here. Big Ben Roethlisberger, Pittsburgh Steelers legend. They were talking about primes. Aaron Rodgers got brought up, and somehow Patrick Mahomes' name gets brought up. It's always brought up. And it's not just because we're Chiefs fans. I want to make that clear. Like, when we understand what Aaron Rodgers was able to accomplish and did and how great he was. But Big Ben went on to say that of anyone's prime, he would take Aaron Rodgers, and then Patrick Mahomes' name got brought up, and he would take him over Aaron Rodgers or Patrick Mahomes' prime. But then Big Ben also went to say that Patrick Mahomes is out of his prime. His prime is over. It's gone. It's history. Patrick Mahomes is now on the back end of his career, pretty much is what Big Ben said. Patrick Mahomes on his way out the league. Yeah. This is pretty much what Big Ben said. Yeah. And that was I thought, very highly disrespectful. And I don't know if Big Ben made it coming out that way. He has not rebutted anything. He's actually kind of forward his comments saying that, Aaron Rodgers is the greatest quarterback we've seen from a prime standpoint. It started a big debate. Big debate.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of hard to say that Mahomes is out of his prime, considering, he's been to 5 Super Bowls in 7 years as a starter. 3 in a row. He has 3 rings. Has known nothing less than an NFC Championship game. Yep. I would love to see what Big Ben would look like with the talent that Mahomes has had the past 2 years to throw to. A mid-30-year-old, a mid-30-year-old tight end, a no left tackle the past.
The only other quarterback I can really compare to that's dealt with talent like that is Tom Brady. When you really want to get down nitty and gritty to it,
like to be able to win. Always had an O-line in front of him that was solid. Somehow, always and then a top 5, top 8 defense.
Always, so
always, and he has never made a run 5 Super Bowls in 7 years.
No.
Brady has never done that at all ever in his career when he was playing.
Yes.
And I mean, in Brady, everybody announces as like the GOAT. So to say that Mahomes' numbers is down, it's true. But what weapons he got? I haven't had anybody. Like we saw what they were kind of looking like last year before Rice got hurt. It was a game and a half.
Yep.
But so I got numbers here.
Okay, let's get to
I want to
numbers.
put it out. So 7 years, and then all of a sudden, Mahomes has been a starter for 7 years, guys, and his prime's over.
Yep.
He's 29, going into his 30s. For a quarterback, that's young as hell, considering the age of some of these quarterbacks in.
Yeah.
But I want to start with Rodgers, his first 7 years, because Rodgers' first 7 years as a starter won a Super Bowl, never made it back. But hey, we'll take that pride. But the first 7, so we're going from 08 to 2014.
Let's get it.
4,000 yards, 28 tutties, 13 picks for Rodgers.
Okay.
4,000 yards, 30 touchdowns, 7 picks. 2010, just under 4,000 yards, 28 touchdowns, 11 picks. 2011, 4,600 yards, 45 30s, 6 picks. Rodgers doesn't throw interceptions.
No,
we all know that.
We do know that.
2012, 4,300 yards, almost 39 touchdowns, 8 picks. 2013, he looks like he got hurt. 2,500 yards, 36 picks. 2014, 4,300 yards, 38 touchdowns again, 5 picks. So consistently hit around the 30 mark, about 8 picks. Let's jump over Mahomes' first 7 years. First year as a full-time starter, I was over 4,000 yards, 50 tutties, 12 picks. Next year, over 4,000 yards, 26 tutties, 5 picks. Next year, 2020, 4,700 yards, 38 to 6. 2021, 4,800, 37 tutties, 13 picks. 2022, I don't know if you know this, 5,250 yards, 41 touchdowns, 12 picks in 2022. Damn.
Okay.
That was in 2022. 2023, 4,100 yards again, 27 touchdowns, 14 picks. By the way, we won the Super Bowl that year in 2023. So, damn. 2024, just under 4,000 yards, 26 touchdowns, and 11 picks.
That's thrown to Carpenters.
And in all that too, he did get hurt. He missed a couple games.
Yes.
And I think it was 2022 or 2019. So out of all those stats, great stats by both, but somebody has been to 5 Super Bowls. There was nothing less than an AFC Championship game, but you're going to take somebody else's, their quote-unquote prime, because he's out of his prime, so that means Rodgers had to be out of his then too in 7 years.
Yeah.
Out of all those numbers,
it's just...
Rodgers has less interceptions. That's
my problem with Big saying that. If you want to say that, you want to say that like what Rodgers did as a quarterback, what he did, cool. But if that was your all be all, why didn't you win more? Like why were you not? Why did you have collapses in the playoffs? Why did you not be able to score points? But then Big Ben tried to, you can't control everything. No, if you are that dude, you got to go out and march down the field. Patrick had to do it for the first 2 Super Bowls. We really didn't have that great of a defense. It was a struggle to get up and down. Like we had to put up points. We would just pray that our defense just get me a stop. Just get me a stop. Aaron Rodgers, for the most part, had a great defense. You had the Clay Matthews. You
can make an argument that the one Super Bowl he went to and he won wasn't necessarily because of him. Everything fell into place. A great defense.
Yeah.
He's always had talent around him, from running back to wide to the skill position guys.
Yes.
No first round picks, but he's always had talent around him to play with and a great defense to always lean on. And you know what? Maybe not an injury-esque coach throughout his career.
We'll give you that.
So I'll give you that one. But if you're trying to pick somebody's prime, I'm taking Patrick Mahomes' prime.
Because I know with Patrick Mahomes' prime, I can give him any talent, and we've seen it both ways, and he's going to win with that talent.
Well, it's just funny to me. He's trying to say, well, you can't control everything, but we blame Mahomes for the Super Bowl loss against the Eagles with no left tackle. As soon as he got the ball, he was being hit. And then against the Bucs, the same kind of ordeal in the Super Bowl. Again, we blamed Mahomes.
Yep.
Against the Bengals, he got the blame and getting the AFC Championship, rightfully so. That was probably his worst game that you could actually say he lost the game for the Chiefs. Was the AFC Championship game against the Bengals.
So absolutely. I get where I just think sometimes I look at some of these former players like Big Ben. I just think some of you guys are a little reminiscent. Like, damn, I wish I played in the league now. What would I look like in this league now with the way that we're able to do everything? But I can't help you. You have to deal with how you deal with what you dealt with And to say that about Aaron Rodgers, like we just talked about, if you were the all-be-all, why didn't you win more? Well, what was the issue? Why did you get to these moments and fall apart? If you were that all-be-all guy, it shouldn't have mattered what the other obstacles you had to go, because you were the all-be-all guy. You made the engine run. You should have been able to move down the line.
It's the same way that we have everybody else now in the league, quarterback-wise.
Yep.
It's Josh Allen's fault. People kind of excuse, right? Well, the defense just couldn't stop Mahomes. Or you got Lamar Jackson. Well, we're not putting it on Lamar Jackson, but if Mahomes doesn't get it done, well, that's on Mahomes.
Yeah, it's on Mahomes.
Oh, what would you want me to do? Like, I don't have a left tackle. To me, like, the numbers are great, but if you look at the accomplishments and the accolades that they have achieved in just 7 years, because we got 7 years. To me, once you hit about this age of this age for quarterbacks, 28, 29, when you're starting to hit your peak. And that's not in every sport. Like in basketball, about 28, 27, you start to kind of climb on that peak where you start making like those deep playoff runs. Mahomes won nothing less than an AFC championship.
Well, also made me mad about Big Ben. He was like, well, Aaron Rodgers is a 4-time MVP. That's cool. Peyton Manning's a 5-time league MVP. Like, what are we saying?
Mahomes is a two times MVP, 3-time Super Bowl MVP, 3-time Super Bowl champ.
Yeah, so it's like, I don't, like, it just felt like when he said that and people kind of backlash and he tried to make he's got this. That's cool, but where is the other hardware that I need to go with? Where is the success?
It's just kind of like you can have all the stats in the world and all the hardware in certain hardware. Like you have regular season MVP, that's cool. Where's the Super Bowl MVPs?
Yeah. Where's
you don't have those? Where the Super Bowl rings? Kind of like Mahomes said, like, hey, because they got when you win the NFC or AFC championship, you get a ring. Some of them go in my safe. Some of them sit on top of my safe. Aaron Rodgers has all of his and starts to do his safe because you don't want to lose it.
No, you can't
lose it because he only has the one.
Yeah.
He literally has 1 and 1. He has 1 NFC championship win, 1 Super Bowl win. I'm sorry, but the accolades don't even stack up because you have a great regular season.
Well, what was your thoughts to have been also saying that the quarterbacks that we see nowadays are piggybacking off what Aaron Rodgers, like the throws and the moving in the pocket? I'm like, that's a little tough to say. Yes, Aaron Rodgers has done those, but I think these guys have elevated that to a whole new level that we see.
Well,
the whole new level.
I don't really think they're piggybacking off of Aaron Rodgers really at all. I feel like that this is what the NFL wanted. They saw the college game and how electrifying it is with these mobile athletes throwing the ball around, and they're like, we saw how electrifying it is in college. Let's translate that into the NFL, and the NFL finally is allowing it, and now we're seeing a bunch of, sorry to say it, but black quarterbacks, and we're getting electrifying plays, bunch of different sidearms. We're seeing a bunch of guys that could go play baseball and be pitchers or shortstop, and they're coming and they're performing phenomenal.
Yep.
And as quarterbacks, the same way we get a lot of big men that go to basketball play tight end.
Yep. Absolutely.
Tony Gonzalez, Antonio Gates.
Yep. Julius Peppers.
Julius Peppers played basketball, but he was a DN.
He was a DN.
But so, I just feel like the NFL has finally accepted the mobile guy. And then
it took them a long time to really accept the mobile.
It took a long time to accept
they finally
a black quarterback.
Yes, absolutely.
Because, honestly,
because you remember your Randall
Cunningham. You Randall Cunningham and Dante Culpepper is really what they're picking back on.
Yes.
Like, if you wanted to sit not outside, because Aaron Rodgers is not fast. He's not getting out of the pocket. But if you want to try to say maybe like they kind of piggyback, you can't even say they piggyback because when they scout players, they are hard on them because if they have weird arm angles.
Yes.
But yet when you see them come in the league, some coaches don't allow them to do it. Aaron Rodgers was given the freedom. Patrick Mahomes was given that freedom. It's can they continuously have just kind of some other quarterbacks have issues standing in the pocket and making delivered throws when it's not on the run. Yeah. So we can keep them contained. So I don't think at all there's a piggyback off Aaron Rodgers.
Do you think so? I guess to wrap this argument up, because I get your point. I think a lot of people would agree with your point. If not, then let us know why you don't agree with that.
You're allowed to have your own opinion. Yeah, you could be wrong.
Do you like to call it a lot of clickbait? Do you think that was a clickbait thing from Big Ben, or do you think Big Ben really truly believes what he said?
I don't know. What was he smoking beforehand? Because that was a whole lot of stay off the weed, to quote somebody. But no, that was hella clickbait. Nobody in their right minds, if you sit back and look, and you sit back for 7 years, you take 7 year snippet of Rodgers and Mahomes, you're taking Rodgers. If you're unbiased and you just put stats there and the accolades and what they got, and you remove the picture and the team, you're not taking the guy with less accolades and less Super Bowl wins. You're not doing it.
You're not doing it.
The stats are about the same. And Mahomes has, I'm pretty sure, earlier MVP wins in the regular season or awards than Rodgers did.
He's just
in totality, they're both great quarterbacks. Rodgers has
we're not taking nothing away from Aaron Rodgers. I don't want people to get sidetracked from that. That Aaron Rodgers is a phenomenal quarterback. We're just saying that if you're going to take someone's all be all, it's got to translate.
Well, Mahomes has already surpassed Rodgers.
Well, yes,
on the old time quarterback list, he's already surpassed him. It's Mahomes chasing Joe Montana and Tom Brady. Nobody else is even near him in that vicinity.
Absolutely. But like I said, we think it's clickbait. Big Ben, respond.
Tired of clickbait.
Yeah, there's a lot of clickbait out there, and that's why I said everyone's got their own way of talking about sports, and some people do the clickbait to get the views. We don't do that over here, as you see. You don't do that over here.
I don't think it's fair.
So sticking on the quarterback position to a degree, we're going to dive into this a little bit deeper. Brandon sent me this absurd stat, and it's career rushing yards. And then there's Christian McCaffrey, who has 6,387 career rushing yards.
Yeah.
And then it's Lamar Jackson, who has 6,173 career rushing yards. That just was an insane stat to me that blew my mind for many different reasons. Because, like, damn, I'm sitting here thinking, like, are we going to see Lamar Jackson eclipse 10,000 rushing yards in his career when it's all said and done? Obviously, he's about 4,000 yards away, but I had to compare it to Josh Allen before we get a little bit more into Lamar Jackson. I had to compare it to Josh Allen because when you think of mobile guys that are just that dude that can get out and do things, Lamar Jackson's one, and Josh Allen's another. It's a linebacker playing the quarterback position. Let's keep it above.
Yeah, big boy.
So, right off the rip, I want to get into that. So, rushing attempts, Lamar Jackson has had 1,014 for 6,173 rushing yards. He averages about 6.1 yards a carry, and he's got 33 rushing touchdowns. That's pretty solid. And he's got, for passing yards, he's got just over 20,000 passing yards. So, not bad. But then you come over to Josh Allen. Josh Allen has 759 rushing attempts for 4,142 rushing yards. He averages 5.5 attempts and 65 rushing touchdowns. Now, the rushing touchdown for Josh Allen, a little bit more at the goal line, but, you know, damn, that's, when you think about it, they're only separated by 2,000 rushing yards, but Josh is only is way 300 rushing attempts less and is already at the 4,000 rushing mark, which I think is quite insane. And Josh Allen has 26,434 passing yards. So, and to be fair, Josh Allen has 195 passing touchdowns. Lamar Jackson has 166. So that's not bad either. But Lamar Jackson did go on a podcast and he was talking about things that he needs to improve on. What are the things that you say that Lamar Jackson needs to improve? Because he said he needs to be a better leader.
Well, for one, it's kind of a long question. One, I think we'll see our first 10,000 rushing yard quarterback within the next. He's young. He's only like 27. I'll think he'll get 10,000 before he's 30. Lamar's young.
Yeah.
Lamar's like 27.
I would say like at bare minimum 31, if not easing into his 32. But like I agree with you.
I think if he'd be like 30.
That's gonna be insane. Like
our first ever 10,000 yard rushing.
That's why the stat blew my mind. Like dude's at 6,000, a little over 6,000 now. Dude, he's gonna eclipse 10,000. There's running backs in this league that sometimes don't even get 10,000.
I think he will. I'm like, I don't know. Could we see a quarterback actually be the leading rusher all time? Could you imagine? Like, part of me now is really kind of rooting for Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, just so Lamar can run the ball.
How many? Oh shit! How many more rushers?
Well, just kind of put into perspective.
Okay, give it to me.
The Kyler Murray, who's a phenomenal running quarterback as well, has only a little over 1,000 rushing yards.
Damn! So Josh Allen's got more.
He has literally
like damn
over 3,000 more rushing yards than Kyler Murray.
It's just an absurd thing. When you sent that to me, like curiosity killed the cat. I just started looking up. Like I didn't look up Patrick Mahomes. I just went to the next guy that I would think running wise.
So Emmitt Smith has 18,355 rushing yards.
So it's only 12.
So he's 12. He's lower. He's about.
I don't know if he'll get that. Like, but the question becomes: is does Lamar get 10K, 11K?
So Walter Payton has 16,726. That's only 10K away.
That's
Frank Gore is third with 16,000. Barry Sanders has 15,269. And 5th all-time is Adrian Peterson at 14,918. Will we see a quarterback, maybe not number 1, but in the top 5 all the time? Because I'm saying at 30, he's getting 10K.
Yeah.
That puts him only 8,000 away, and he's been at easy money. Lamar Jackson.
I think you could see Lamar Jackson get 12K. It's not unrealistic. 6,000.
You would say at 32, 33, at 32 years old.
Well, I think because of how much more running will he really do? As a lot of these guys get older and they get, they stop running. But it's going to be more of what can he get in that time frame?
I'm saying honestly, I think he's going to be fighting for Walter Payton's 16,000.
Hell, man, that'd be a hell of a thing to talk about. That'd be a hell of a thing.
But Lamar Jackson, what he needs to improve on, he came out on Kevin Hart's Ice Tub podcast show and said he needs to be a more vocal leader. I feel like that's kind of a cop-out. You don't really think you have anything better to be. You personally don't think you have anything better to be it, because if you're a leader, you're just kind of a leader, and some people are vocal leaders.
Yeah.
Some people lead by example.
Yeah.
So and he said he needs to be more vocal. I'm like, so you don't really. To me, he doesn't feel like he needs to be better at anything. Personally, I think he needs to be better when it matters the most. Crunch time, I feel like he just kind of disappears in big games. He's kind of sluggish, kind of slow.
I would say decision making.
Well, I think they're kind of both.
That goes in with what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying.
Sometimes I think Lamar Jackson gets too stuck on a certain read and doesn't move off that option. If we're running this play, he's stuck on where the play's supposed to go, and then that's where you get a lot of his rushing, moving around the pocket, because he focused so much time in one area instead of going through all his route and everything like that. But no, I agree. I think it's a little bit of a cop-out, because you're always got to improve as a leader. You've got to get better.
They've had a winning record ever since he's been in the NFL as a starting quarterback, or in the even in the playoffs as a starting quarterback for the Ravens. I just feel like that's kind of a cop-out answer. I just need to be a more vocal leader. Or how you're leading is how you're supposed to be, or you're just kind of not that dude. Some quarterbacks aren't necessarily that dude that's a vocal leader. Like Tom Brady's going to get in your face, cuss you the fuck out. Patrick Mahomes is a very fiery dude.
Patrick Mahomes' leadership is going to be more behind the camera type of thing.
Patrick Mahomes is a very fiery guy. He's going to be right there. He's kind of he's a fiery guy. He's a fiery leader. Peyton Manning was a fiery leader. No, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Peyton Manning aren't going to bash you in front of the media. Nope. They're going to have your back in front of us thing, what you're trying to say. But there's guys that are fiery leaders, that are vocal on the field, and there's dudes that they are more by example and they're a little bit quieter, and you have like a Derrick Henry as the leader.
I just more think that sometimes Lamar Jackson forgets he's just got so much talent around him that that's not always enough.
I think it's kind of more like you might have you might have the open layup. You could be semi-contested, but you have a wide open corner 3 and just make the extra pass. I think maybe something really he could do outside of obviously showing up at the big games is trusting his teammates to make the play. Make the play for him versus him trying to do it all himself. Because I feel crunch time games, playoff games, he wants to be that dude that does it all. I think it kind of hurts him a little bit. Now I know this last postseason game against the Bills, Mark Andrews had some bad drops.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but again, you still started slow.
Yeah, you got to stop the slow starts, the key mistakes, the fumbling. The fumbling's been big for him in the playoff games.
Literally in the pocket.
In the pocket.
Not necessarily when he's running, just more in the pocket, and him scrambling around kind of in the pocket has cost for them.
Yeah.
So I think we've kind of hit that on the head what we think he's moving. But back on his rushing, he's been in the league 7 years. 7 years, and he's over 6,000 rushing yards. You double another 7 years, you're going to say he's not going to be around 13,000 yards?
That's what I'm saying. I think 12, 13,000 is
14 years in the league.
I think at the all be all, I think he could be right around that 14K, 15, pushing 15K possibly, depending on, like I said, what he can get.
I think he's going to be top 3.
But when you say that out loud, that's insane because again, he's sitting on right now 20,000 passing yards. So when you accumulate all those numbers of what his passing yards could be, to his restaurant. I'm like, dude, I mean, you're going in the Hall of Fame. You're going to be a first ballot type of motherfucker.
I think he's going to be the first ever quarterback to be top 5 in rushing.
Because he's already got the most rushing yards all time by a quarterback.
Yeah.
He's already surpassed that. He got that like midway through last year, I believe.
Yeah, he passed Michael Vick. That's just a crazy stat, and I think when the time comes, when we get there in the future, he will go down to the top 5 rushing. He's going to go down to something.
That's crazy. We had a couple trades that went down in the NFL, Brandon. We had a couple trades. One that kind of shocked a little bit. We had the Steelers and the Miami Dolphins, and let me tell you, we sat on this podcast. Brandon don't remember, but I went back and I asked Brandon, do you think Micah Fitzpatrick would be traded from the Pittsburgh Steelers? He goes, absolutely not. The Steelers will not do that. That would be dumb of them. Well, Pittsburgh Steelers called his bluff and they traded him to the Miami Dolphins for fucking Jalen Ramsey. Pretty much is what we got.
Jonnu Smith.
And Jonnu Smith. The Pittsburgh Steelers needed a tight end, and they got their tight end that they wanted, but it cost them Michael Fitzpatrick. And a lot of people say the reason they did this trade is because they felt like his play fell off. Brandon saw some clips, and he was like...
There were some clips out there that I was saying Michael Fitzpatrick lost, a step or two when it comes to his speed. And there's some clips out there that very much well shows that he has lost a step. And in the NFL...
You give up one loss of a step for a dude that's lost 4 or 5 steps in Jalen Ramsey.
As a safety, you can't really lose a step in the position he kind of plays in. And to be burnt by tight ends, it's kind of sad.
Yeah.
But
what's your overall thoughts on this trade for... We'll start for the Steelers side. Let's go start. They got the tight end
they got the tight end they wanted. And their secondary, I feel, coverage-wise, got better. But safety-wise, I don't know. And can these guys stay healthy in the back?
You got Darius Slay, who's an older guy.
Older corner.
Jalen Ramsey, much older guy as well.
Corner, but I think it was also kind of. I like the move. I don't like giving up Fitzpatrick, but I like them getting Jonnu Smith. So I think that's a positive against Aaron Rodgers. Another weapon offensively.
Yes.
But I don't know how you're really benefiting a whole lot from a ball hawking safety like Fitzpatrick was, who also was good against the run.
Who's also a game changer.
But again, he had some health issues, and Ramsey can be a game changer as well. Yes. And I think with the Steelers, with that scheme, I think Ramsey's deficiencies will be.
Do you think they could move Ramsey to that position?
Potentially, I think they might look at moving him there. But I feel like with
just because of his ball hawk ability to just be able to read a play, go get.
Well, I think that was kind of the problem with Fitzpatrick is that his play recognition was a little slow, and he kind of lost a step, and then he wasn't able to make up his mental lapses.
That's fair.
And I feel like Ramsey would also kind of flourish, kind of in that free safety role. But that's how I kind of feel about the Steelers. How do you feel about the Dolphins?
For the Dolphins, I mean, you get a guy that's an All-Pro. But if I'm him, I don't want to be in Miami. Like, if they got a guy that actually knows how to play in the cold, that's great. I don't know what that really does.
That's a positive.
That's a positive. They got somebody that knows how to play in the cold. That's the only thing I can look at.
Well, when they go to Buffalo in the cold, you're going to have to do is hitting somebody.
Like, someone's not going to be scared of playing in the cold. For the Dolphins, I don't know what to really make of it. You got a great defensive guy, but if I'm him, I don't know if I really want to be there. I don't know what Miami really is. Like, you're not a team I feel like is scary in your division. Third at best, maybe,
it really comes down to the offense staying healthy. Yeah, Tyreek Hill being plugged in, Tua not getting concussed.
I mean, we got Tyreek Hill out now worried about racing Noah Lyles and baby Noah Lyles. Like, how focused are you? Tua, can he stay healthy? Is the head right? Can he play a full season? Jalen Waddle, are we really going to finally see a breakout season? Because boy looking a little chunky as well. He beefed up. They don't have a tight end. They do have a tight end, but he's fresh off his rap career failing, a.k.a. Darren Waller, who has announced he's coming back. There was a trade between the Dolphins and the Giants that gave them Darren Waller and some, whatever.
And a new contract that was like a year for
So it's like, I don't know what to really make of the Dolphins, man.
I think it doesn't. I think the Dolphins got rid of unhappy players. They got rid of Jonnu Smith who wanted to be gone, and he was linked to the Steelers for a very long time this offseason. They got rid of him. Jalen Ramsey wanted to be out. He got out. But they also for the Steelers. I think the Steelers won this trade by far. None. They got rid of a guy.
Well,
they got an expiring contract in Jalen Ramsey. So that's money that's going to be coming off the books.
Yep.
For them, they got a tight end. They have got a good solid tight end on offense. And that's also, I think, has a year or two left on his deal, so that's also another kind of an expiring contract.
But what is it, when you look at these guys that went out of Miami, what is that telling you about the culture that's in Miami right now? Man, it's not a great culture.
Well, a lot of people that kind of went out is, kind of some defensive guys, and Jonnu Smith, he just really wasn't used. Like, he even kind of said, I'm not a race car. Like, I'm not speed, dude. Like, we're not a ground and pound. The running back at Chinny, speed. Tyreek Waddle, speed. Tua, kind of a scrambler. Doesn't really use the tight end a whole lot. 2 years back, Jonnu Smith was kind of looking decently solid.
You thought this was a guy about to break through. So, no, I agree. I think the Steelers won this trade. When you take out oh my God, they traded him away, and you look at what they're trying to build. A lot of veteran key guys trying to make this one last hoorah. And the division is, we know what the division is. It's really just Baltimore. Like, what do we get?
Baltimore, it's the Bengals and them, and they all beat the shit out of each other.
They do. Then they're just Cleveland. It's how you doing, guys?
The Browns will sneak a win or two from them, because they always do, because they beat the shit out of each other. But Darren Waller, coming out of retirement from the Giants, he retired because he played in Buffalo. He played in Buffalo, and he realized...
The Giants.
He played for the Giants, but the game he talked about, they realized that he was retiring was when they were playing in Buffalo, and he was getting lined up at fullback.
He was like, it's time for me to get the fuck up out of
here. Yeah, so I'm done. He's like, I give him my all, and then that season, and I was like, I'm out. As some people might not know, Darren Waller, he had some drug issues, substance abuse. Yep. And he was kind of falling a little bit back on that too in New York. Got healthy, like you said, apparently had a rap group. Didn't pan out so well. And
I do hope that Darren Waller has a great, comeback, because he was one of the best tight ends in the league before the injuries and just everything went to Iran. A lot of it had to do with,
Well, he's getting paired with his former tight end coach.
Yep.
So down there in Miami. So
they're going to use him as the tight end, but I'd be really curious to see, does he still got that step? Like, we don't know.
Let's got that juice.
Speaking of the Steelers, the TJ Watt situation's getting a little dicey over here, my guy. It's getting a little dicey.
You're just lucky that you have me.
You're lucky you have me. Okay.
Okay.
But that's what's going on right now. It is a back and forth of you should be lucky that you have me, and then you're lucky that we have you, and it's just could we see TJ get moved? Is this becoming more of a forefront thing that TJ is going to be moved?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either, but they're, from everything that's being reported, they are far apart. Just be thankful you got me. That's all I got to say.
Just think you got me, though. That's all I got to say. I think the number that he wants,
is that Myles Garrett number, dog?
Yes. And it's rightfully so. He's right up
Myles Garrett even said he deserves that number.
I don't know what the whole really is. The dude has earned it. The dude deserves it. Pay him or move him. If he does get moved, though, where would you like to see him land? Obviously,
I want him out of the AFC.
You got to get him out of the AFC.
Send him to the Commanders, dog.
I don't know.
Send him to the Commanders, man. That would be great to see him in that, just in that division with the Commanders who are up and rising. They have the cap space, and they have a guy that's a little unhappy in scary territory, which I don't want them to move, but for money purposes and everything, I think that would have to be a play potentially. Not saying it would be, but I would like to see him with the Commanders. But I don't want him in the AFC. He's got to go to the NFC.
Just for the Commanders, not franchise and everything they've been through. Now
that would be the dude.
That would just be a great trade. If that means you have to give up a 1 and a 3 or 2 2s or something like that to
go get him, dog.
A 30-year-old TJ Watt, absolutely, and you pay him. You can pay him. You're not paying Jaden Daniels. Capitalize on this young, prospering quarterback, and hopefully, Jaden, keeps on progressing, and let him lean on that defense so he doesn't have to win you games at the buzzer, kind of like he did last year. I would love to see him with the Commanders.
I think the Commanders would be the great deal. They have the capital, the draft capital. Like you said, they have everything. Go do it. Go make it happen. Go make it happen.
One spot that I would hate to see him at because it would be deadly. Buffalo. I don't think Buffalo could financially pull that off. But boy, if they could go get him and swing him,
that would change. That would be big for both because that's something that they've never had at his age, that he's playing, entering the prime that he's in. Yeah, that would be for Josh Allen's sake to have somebody on the defense side that can go cause havoc. Yeah, that would be fucking scary.
If you playing Madden 25, make that trade. Oh god, Buffalo, dude. That's kind of a dream scenario for Buffalo. But I mean, if you could. Yeah, I would. I'd play if I was Buffalo. I'd pay a little bit more for the trade. Yeah, just to get him because AFC and all.
Because go with the luxury trade. Who gives a crap? Go pay the money. Just pay it. TV deals are going up. Money's always going up.
I meant more like in the trade to the Steelers to acquire him.
Another guy that is seeking to be paid, that is not going to get paid by his organization, Trey Henderson, still holding out.
Yeah,
nothing seems to be coming of that whole situation. The rookie still has not signed a contract. Shout out Cincinnati, man. I'm not trying to poke fun at Cincinnati, but man,
they do it to themselves.
Like you're doing it to yourself.
I don't think we've quite touched it. Where would you like to see him get moved to? We might have touched it a little bit.
Trey Henderson, like a guy like him again, Buffalo, like it's cheaper than a TJ Watt. That would be a solid role for you.
Trade-wise, yeah.
Green Bay wouldn't be a bad spot for him too. An up and rising team as well. Still youngish, trying to figure out their way.
The Lions.
The Lions, to me, have the capital. They don't have to give up play. They have capital to just. Here you go. You get a bid.
I think the Lions could go between a TJ Watt or a Henderson trade.
Woo.
But that would take.
Because they were in the Myles Garrett fucking sweepstakes before he got paid.
Yeah.
And they were ready to give up, 4 first-round fucking picks. Cleveland, you stupid. But. They gave.
We only give that pick capital out. We don't want to take that in. But I think him there with the Lions would definitely solidify them into 1 or 2, definitely Super Bowl
2 dudes on each side. Oh, good. Fuck, that'd be scary as hell. But no, for Trey Henderson, I would say Buffalo, Green Bay, maybe Houston if they could. I don't really want to see him in the AFC, but
with the line would be dead.
So, but yeah, the rookie still hasn't signed his deal, and honestly, we're approaching dangerous times for Cincinnati defensively.
Oh,
but
for sure.
The last thing in the NFL that we need to talk about that is something that took place. Justin Tucker was suspended by the NFL for 10 games, 1 game less than Deshaun Watson.
So he's one less game worse.
Yeah,
Deshaun Watson and all his
1 less massage parlor he visited than Deshaun Watson, maybe possibly. Justin Tucker is on no team, and honestly, I'm not going to sit here and say that he's not going to get on a team because Deshaun Watson's on a fucking team, so that'd be hypocritical of me to say that he's not going to be on a team. But it's going to be more of somebody gets hurt and we really need someone to bring in. But again, he's not going to be available until week 11, week 12-ish.
Yeah, but Deshaun Watson already kind of got a fully guaranteed contract.
So it's completely different. But
I think Justin Tucker's out of the league.
Then I wouldn't be upset with that take either. I wouldn't be
think
upset.
Justin Tucker's done. I think Deshaun Watson really in my mind should be kind of out of the league as well. But I get it. He's a quarterback. Justin Tucker's a kicker. Didn't have a great year last year.
He knew the allegations were about to come out, dog. He was scared shitless.
And I just don't foresee Justin Tucker ever making it back in the league.
That's fair.
I think last season was his last season. I just know. In 2 years ago, the Chiefs and the Ravens and the AFC Championship game, that voodoo, whatever they did, messing with him, fucked him up.
Should have done, dude.
They moved his shit.
What did it cost you? Everything.
And it
cost you everything, dog. Yeah, but that is all the main core stuff that's going on. Oh, well, no. Jair Alexander did sign with the Baltimore Ravens.
He did.
He went back to join his college teammate, Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson told the GM, go get him. They went and got him. So they got another all-pro to go on that all-pro defense that they already got. So, yeah. But that is about the basic stuff that we got going on in the NFL. We do have an NFL game this month. It is the Hall of Fame game, which no one's going to really tune into for. But then right after that, preseason starts, and then the NFL season out around the goddamn corner. But any more stuff that comes up, you guys know we'll bring it to you. Now to the NBA. This has been a very wild NBA offseason so far. Before we get into the big stuff, I don't know if you saw this. The NBA decided to drop 77 games from Greg Popovich's career total. Yep, Greg Popovich has a career mark change from 1,390 wins to 824 after the NBA adjusted him for missing 77 games in the 24-25 season. How do you feel about the NBA taking away 77 games from the great Greg Popovich?
I mean, if a head coach gets suspended for a game, is that game count for a win or a loss?
I mean, that's fair.
So, he didn't coach.
He
wasn't there. It's kind of like, in baseball, if a pitcher doesn't make it 6.5, 7 innings, that doesn't come back on it. If the pitcher only pitches 3 innings, well, that's not a loss on it.
That's fair. It's very fair. I just thought that was a crazy thing. Another crazy thing happened. Brandon, can you tell me why these athletes out here fucking around with this gambling shit?
It's fun.
It's fun. So
it's fun. It's fun.
It's fun. So Terry Rozier.
It's fun, and I'm not supposed to do it.
Yeah, well,
so it's even more fun.
So Terry Rozier was being investigated last year, and you really didn't see him a lot. He was still on a team, but didn't play a lot. But the investigation fully cleared Terry Rozier. He's clean. Yeah. He did not gamble. They couldn't prove that he did.
Couldn't prove that he did.
But Mikal Beasley, not Michael Beasley, Mikal Beasley, it's been detained, or I guess you could say, for his gambling. He's being sued by his barber. He's being sued by a lot of people right now, and it's not looking good because the man was about to sign a 3-year, $42 million contract extension with the Detroit Pistons, and Detroit said, "We're going to halve that," and it don't look like. It's not looking good for Beasley. It definitely looks like he's guilty. Even his game, was it like Mikal Beasley Piston 5? I think it was his name. So really, it's like, damn, dude, you didn't even try to hide who the fuck you were. But yeah, that's unfortunate. I don't know why an MLB player was also put on leave. Luis Ortiz for the Cleveland Braves. He's the pitcher. He's also on. I just don't know what's going on with these guys. Why are you dabbling in this? Like, why?
Apparently, they're not making enough money. Playing a.
I can understand if this was the WNBA players trying to gamble a little bit, trying to make some money. I can understand that. But you NBA players,
the NBA, your MLB, NFL players, y'all making millions of dollars. You're getting top of the line medical care. You're getting fed. I'm really confused on why y'all think you should be betting on this or gambling on this or had anybody in your inner circle wanting to gamble or asking you for insight. No. Delete that shit. Delete DraftKings, delete Sportsbooks, delete all those gambling apps. We ain't doing that here.
Yeah,
I'm making too much.
You're making too much. So,
and honestly, all these athletes deserve all the punishment that comes down on
absolutely
for them.
So, we didn't get to speak about this last week when we were talking about the NBA, and we're going to hit it right now. So, Austin Reeves of the Los Angeles Lakers, he decided to decline his 4-year, $90 million contract extension, and he wants to enter free agency the following season. Now, Austin Reeves entered this league undrafted. His first year in the league, he averaged 7 points. His second year in the league, 13 points. Third year in the league, 16 points. This past season, 20 points. So the man has steadily improved. He's improved offensively. He's become a better playmaker. Assists have gone up. He finished 6th in most improved in 2022-2023. He finished 7th in that. Solid defender. Not the greatest defender. Solid defender. What's your thoughts on him declining 4 years, $90 million?
He's not a Laker no more. At some point, he's getting whether he plays out this year with the Lakers, and if he does, then it's a sign and trade next year because the Lakers aren't going to let him walk. No. Or in a very slim off chance, there's now a lot of big names hitting the market, and people aren't willing to spend money. You might come back and that $90 million might not be on the table next year.
We saw a guy make the same mistake too a long time ago, Dennis Schroeder.
Hey, he came out and said, dude, I had
He even said, take that deal.
Take the money.
And I also look at it for Austin Reeves too, man. I get it. You feel like you're worth more. Again, we will say in the same app, you're supposed to feel that way.
Yes.
But you're in Los Angeles. You're with the Los Angeles Lakers, a big market. You are exposed. There's a lot of people out there that know your name. Like, you like to say, you were, not saying that these aren't great players, but we're going to use Cade Cunningham because we had this conversation. He's in Detroit. And Brandon and I go back on this because he knows it fires me up. He's wasted away in Detroit. But Brandon's not saying that he's not great, not an all-star, he can't lead his team, but he's in Detroit. We're not talking about you. And Brandon has to get that through my thick skull because it gets me fired up. But that's what Austin Reeves needs to understand. You're in LA. We have people out here talking about you that normally probably wouldn't be talking about you if you were in Charlotte, Detroit, or somewhere. New Orleans. Like, we're not talking about you like that. So you have to recognize the market you're in. I mean, you got a shoe as well. He has his own signature shoe. Like, you're not getting that if you're in one of those. So it's like you gotta I feel like I'm worth more, but damn, dog, I'm in Los Angeles. I'm on prime time every day. You're gonna know who I am, my jersey, my name.
Playing with Luka, Ron, now DeAndre Ayton, who they just signed after his buyout.
Yes. So,
I'm really, and LA has a new owner. They're willing to spend money.
Yeah, that dude is
willing to
spend money.
It's the Dodgers group, and then it'll be that bot. The LA Lakers, and they know how to. They know
they're not afraid.
The Lakers are about to spend money, but no, he's gone. Like this is probably his last year. They're not going to give him a max. They're not going to overpay for him because he's not a max guy. But somebody like the Pelicans or Detroit,
you just gotta be careful, man. Like,
the Washington Wizards. Go play for the Washington Wizards.
It's just
go ask every player that's gone there how they feel. You're gonna disappear. That $90 million, we all knew he was gonna turn it down, but he's gone. He's either gonna be traded during the season, which I think you can get if he's playing solid basketball. He's getting better. Honestly, I'm moving him. Yep. I don't need him because if I'm the Lakers, in my mind, I'm glad I vetoed that Dalton Knecht trade because Dalton Knecht to me is a better shooter, better defender, younger, and best of all, cheaper.
Cheaper, yeah. And you even said that too. He's an upgraded version of him. Taller, longer, better. Potentially. He's got to get
because we already know what Austin Reeves can be. But Austin Reeves looking a little Luka-ish as we kind of saw during last season.
Yeah. He was on that water.
He was on that water Luka was on. Dude. He was looking great, but it's unfortunate. I would honestly have took the 90.
So sticking on the Lakers, I would have took the 92 just because you got to realize what you are. Like you said, DeAndre Ayton is now a part of the Los Angeles Lakers with his buyout with the Portland Trail Blazers. Thank you, Rob Pelinka, for not fucking this one up after losing out on every other big man possible. We got DeAndre Ayton, and it's a good move for DeAndre Ayton. I think it's a good move. He's going to be around big leaders, vocal guys that are going to hold him accountable, that are not going to let him be lazy. As you know, Luka and LeBron, especially LeBron, you're not going to get you're going to get treated a certain way.
All right. So, our basketball, nuance over here. Yes, Ayton bought out the Blazers. He's with the Lakers, 2-year deal, second year as a player option.
Yep.
Now, cool, great, got it. Luka's there, cool, great, got it. Reeves there, cool, great, got it. Hawkins there, cool, great, got it. LeBron getting traded or not?
I don't.
Opted into his player option, about $52 million. People upset about it. Should have took less. Care about winning. The Lakers care more about having a max offer next year to give a max player.
Yeah.
So. Obviously, what do they do?
The trade buzz is, I don't think he gets traded. That would be crazy because he's never been traded before. But LeBron's also never accepted a player option before. He's always declined it and gotten long-term deals. But it just means that...
What are they doing? Are the Lakers going to keep him?
I think the Lakers keep him.
I think he does have a no-trade clause, though.
He does have a no-trade clause.
So he can determine where he kind of goes. But if they would make a trade, where could you see him landing? Because you don't think he gets traded. I think he gets traded. So I'm asking you, where do you think
if he gets traded and he's wanting to win a championship like he is, the easiest path would be the East, and it's either going back home to Cleveland or the New York Knicks. It's not in the Western Conference. You're not going to stay in the West where it is completely stacked. You're going to go to the East, which people can play all the least East, whatever. That's great. I'm trying to get to a championship, so I'm going to go to a place that's going to get me there, and that's either Cleveland or the New York Knicks.
Would it not be fantastic for him to go to the Cavs? And I think the Cavs have the easiest ability to make that trade.
A lot of people said they had to give up these players. I don't think so. LeBron's 40. Like, you're not getting a big value in return for LeBron.
I think it's going to take a couple teams because I think it will be the Cavs, and I think the person that gets the knife will be Garland.
Yeah.
I think Darius Garland's the one that gets the knife.
Considering he was already offered up to Phoenix already. It's like, so...
But he makes the money work the best. But again, there'll be a couple other teams. Be some draft picks thrown around to LA, to Cleveland. But I think LeBron replaced Garland to prepare him with Mitchell and those boys.
You got everything you need right there.
I mean, if LeBron really wants out, why not go home for one last hurrah? This is for you, for Cleveland.
Yeah.
Get another chip. I mean, who's coming out of the West? Maybe OKC again.
Yeah, we don't know.
Because like the Celtics, they're selling out to get on that second apron. Jason Tatum's not going to be there.
Yep.
They could be potentially, if the Celtics aren't looking great, could be selling out their players, selling Brown, selling White. So honestly, I do think he gets traded. I don't foresee him staying on the Lakers. He's gone by the season. I don't think he's even on the starting roster come tip.
We'll have to come back to that. We'll have to wait and see. Like I said, we'll have to wait and see. I don't know. Like there's so much talk out there right now. But again, those are the two teams. I agree. It's Cleveland and New York. Those are the two teams you're going to if you're wanting to win a championship. And you're going to the East because it's the easiest way to get there. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just the East is depleted right now. It's either young or they're broken.
I just don't think the Knicks necessarily have the players they can move to get that won't hurt, that won't deplete the roster. Like everybody kind of brings up Cat. The Lakers don't need Cat no more because they got Ayton.
Yeah.
And so like
that's right.
The Cavs have the easiest one player move and some draft capital. But the Knicks did get a new head coach though.
They did get a new coach. Speaking of the New York, that's where we're going. We're going to go to New York. So there was a lot of speculation where they were going to go. They were interviewing Don Staley of the South Carolina. That did not go there. So they decided to go Mike Brown, who ironically is LeBron's former head coach down there in Cleveland. So when they went to the finals in 2007. So, but is Mike Brown really the guy to get them there? Is he really the all be able to take them over the top? Do you think?
I think he's. I think it's a good hire in the sense that he's defensive minded.
Yep.
But he's more collaborative. He's more open to his assistants and the players.
And he's got a better rotation.
And he uses the bench. And it's been reported that Mike Brown has even let the players scheme up plays. Have even like what do you guys see out on the court? What am I seeing?
Which is great.
He's more open to when Tom Thibodeau. He's solo. Nope. I'm the captain from the soonest hit to the final whistle.
Yep.
I think Mike Brown is more collaborative, and players want to be heard nowadays, especially more than any time in the NBA. And I think he fits that mold of defense, but also will help offensive creativity to kind of hopefully give Brunson some kind of help, maybe get a little bit more out of Cat. You need more out of Cat. I think he could potentially be able to
I agree with that. I think they got a great guy to help lead that team. We'll see what happens with the Knicks. Speaking of the Knicks, another guy that got bought out by the Utah Jazz, Jordan Clarkson, signed with the New York Knicks. So they got a guy that's coming off the bench that's going to give you 16 to 20 points.
He got
spark plug. The dude's a Michael. A beautiful spark plug. Love that deal for the New York Knicks. Now, we sat up here last week and we talked about the Dallas Mavericks. Now, to skip all that, we were talking about backup point guards. And I think someone owes you some compensation because Brandon sat up here and said, give me D'Lo. Perfect fit. Well, the Dallas Mavericks must have watched the podcast, heard Brandon. They went out and got D'Lo on a 2-year, $13 million deal. So D'Lo is headed to the Dallas Mavericks. So he reunites with Anthony Davis. So and Max Christie as well. So
I thought D'Lo's really just kind of a bucket guy. Kyrie's a bucket guy. That's kind of what the offense was going to need if you wanted somebody to be a Kyrie-esque type of point guard. I think he fits in well. I think it'd be a nice mentor guard-wise for their number 1 overall pick for Flag. Yep. And I think we'll kind of help be able to ease him in there with it. Obviously, you got Klay Thompson there as well, but I think D'Lo just really fits that mold.
And he fits the mold when Kyrie does come back too. If you need to play small ball or a great backup point guard, he literally fits all the module that they need to fit for him as well.
I think again you have a guy that comes off the bench, kind of like Jordan Clarkson. For the Knicks now, I think you come in, he's like, if he's hot, you just kind of
when D'Lo gets hot, I'll give you that. Speaking of another guy that left the Lakers and Rob Pelinka, Dory Finney-Smith left the Lakers and went to the Rockets on a 4-year, $53 million deal. Now, it's reported that Rob Pelinka was calling people trying to lower his value about a knee injury, man. That's some fucked up shit, dog. Like,
I just know Rob.
Especially knowing that Finney-Smith is best friends with Luka Doncic. Like, these guys were together in Dallas. They've been very close. These two were very close, and Rob Pelinka didn't want to bring him back.
I don't think they thought the price would be so high. I think it's really fucked if it's really actually true that Rob Pelinka was out here telling other teams, hey, he's a little banged up. He has this kind of knee injury, which kind of weird. Kind of fits a mold of a trade that the Lakers vetoed because of an injury. But I don't know. They missed out. I think they should have been able to retain a really good 3-and-D kind of guy for Luka.
But he goes to Houston. But he going to Houston, which Houston is very rich right now. Speaking of the Houston Rockets.
The Rockets are definitely they're plethora of talent, youth, and shooting and defense.
They went and got Clint Capella as well. So they have big guys all the way around. Clint Capella reunites with the Houston Rockets after his time in Atlanta, which honestly forgot Clint Capella was still around, to be honest.
It's Atlanta.
So the Houston Rockets are looking fire. Another guy that got paid, Jared Jakson Jr. got 5 years, $240 million, and the turnaround had an operation on his foot for turf toe. He's gonna be good to go. But
how do you get turf toe?
I don't know. That fucks me up too. I'm like, turf toe, dog. You a basketball player. But Jared Jakson got paid 5 years, $240 million. So that answered the question about Jared Jakson staying in Memphis.
Yeah.
The last person remaining on that is Ja Morant. And then you were also upset. The Orlando Magic and the obviously the Grizzlies had that big trade. Cole Anthony ended up on the Memphis Grizzlies. Like, that's a solid backup. Memphis is like, no, we're not going to keep him. We're going to send him somewhere else, and they're working on a new destination for Cole Anthony. So I
guess we'll see. I guess they didn't quite see.
They didn't see your vision on that one.
They didn't see quite a fit there for him.
They did not see it. Another guy that went to the Atlanta Hawks, Alexander Walker. He was with the Minnesota Timberwolves. He left. He's going to Atlanta on a 4-year, $62 million deal. That's a tough guy for, I think, Minnesota to lose. That was a nice defensive.
You can't keep everybody, though.
No, you can't, because they kept Nas Reed 4 years, $125 million.
They kept Julius Randle, so they kind of kept to hit most of that core together. You can't keep everybody. Nobody wants to pay them the second apron. No. But the Timberwolves, I think, really kind of kept the guys that needed together. A big story, though, I really want to touch on is the Bucks.
Okay, yeah.
The Bucks cut or waived Damian Lillard, spread the rest of his money out over 5 years, paying him $22 million per year over the next 5, so it'll be around 2030, 2031 when that's done, just to turn around so they can afford Miles Turner's contract.
Yeah.
That they paid him to pull him from the Indiana Pacers.
Which, didn't really see that coming. Apparently the Pacers didn't really want to go over $22 million a year.
Well, they're paying Turner 4 years, $107 million.
Which I think
the Bucks, are paying him 4 years, $107 million with through player option in the last year of the deal, 2028, 2029. But if he gets traded, there's a 15% kicker to increase his cap. So really, you're paying $50 million for 2 players, a la Dame and Miles Turner, but you only have Miles Turner.
Yeah.
One, apparently, Dame went home to rehab his Achilles injury.
Back in Portland.
The Bucks said, fuck you, stay here. He said, get bent, now waived. So first time ever in Dame's career, he gets to go sign where he wants to go. Where do you think he lands?
Well, I don't think it's going to be Boston. After Boston came out and said, we view you as a backup point guard to Peyton Pritchard. I don't think he's going to be going there. I don't know. I think he's going to sign with a contender, and Dame won't sign until later in the year.
It'll be late.
It'll be late in the year, and it's going to go. It's going to go to a contender. So it's really whoever your contenders are. In all reality, who he is the best. Maybe the Mavs,
maybe the Rockets, OKC.
Another story I think we really need to talk about is what happened to the Denver Nuggets. That's crazy. Jonas Valanciunas was traded there. That's crazy.
So Jonas Valanciunas just broke a little bit ago.
Yes,
during a move to
Kentucky.
An overseas basketball team, signaling a potential departure from the NBA despite recently being traded to the Nuggets. I'm just saying that money, that contract got to be huge out over there. But the Nuggets also, they made some moves.
Yes, they did.
They traded Michael Porter Jr. to the Nets for Cam Johnson. A move that instantly saves them $34 million across the next 2 seasons. And they got a 3D guy, Cam Johnson.
And then they re-signed a guy that they thought was never going to leave in the beginning, Bruce Brown Jr., returned to the Denver Nuggets on a 1-year deal. Honestly, didn't know he was still in the league. But there's just so much going on. The Toronto Raptors center, Jakob Portal, he agreed to a 4-year deal, $104 million contract. Honestly, but he got paid massively. The Raptors also deported away from their GM after 12 years.
The only GM to bring them the
chip. They moved on from him. So that was crazy as well. another trade. The trade that happened that sent Valanciunas to the Denver Nuggets. The Sacramento Kings traded him for Darko Saric. The question is, does that trade get rescinded now if he doesn't want to play there, or does that not how that? I wonder how
that's not how that works.
That's not how that works. So Denver really just gave up a big man to lose a big man. Joker's still looking for a backup center. So anybody out there that's looking to go back up Joker so he can get some rest, they're looking for you. But the biggest last thing we need to touch on is SGA's contract. SGA got paid massively, making 4 years, $285 million, making $71.25 million a year. Boy got paid. He took the whole pie.
I mean, well deserved.
Well deserved. MVP, scoring title, Western Conference Finals MVP, got it all. We'll have to see if the OKC turns out to be a dynasty. We'll have to wait and see. But
they got their 3 main core guys locked on the contract for the foreseeable future. So really, with all the draft capital they got, there's no reason to think that they just can't be the next 5-7 year run dynasty.
Yeah, absolutely, because they still got
and it's a small market team, which makes it even better.
Even better. But that is pretty much all the big news in NBA free agency and stuff like that. We'll bring more to you as we get it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We'll see you guys next week.